It's a question from somebody you know.
Um, I'm confused, but I like it. Um,
You're so handsome. A handsome boy.
Thanks, Mom. I'm Elliot, by the way.
Sophie. I'll text you. Want to go to Paris this weekend? It'll be fun. Was it a girl?
Guys, like, even with the CIA with you.
Give me these.
So, are you married?
Would it bother you? Want to play photographer?
Keep going.
You both have an incredible fearlessness in delving into the darker corners of the human psyche, whether it's the haunting fate of Hildy in the lodge, which still lingers with me, the unsettling ambiguity of the sniper scene in Civil War, or the profound unraveling that unfolds here by the end. What is it about exploring the dark that captivates you? How does it shape your understanding of the light, and how might it influence the artistic paths you carve for yourselves?
I don't necessarily always look for darker characters or themes and stories. When I was in drama school, our teacher Bill he would sometimes quote Stella Adler and say things like, it's not the actor's job to judge. And so, whether you're playing a villain or someone who's unhinged or deranged, or you're diving into these darker themes, the job of us is to shine light on the human condition. And so, when you get a juicy role like Elliot in Pretty Thing, that has all these layers and appears to be one thing at first, and then there's all this other stuff underneath. I mean, that's just kind of like that's the fun the fun part of the job is, diving into these people that aren't you, but might have some kernel of truth, something that you can connect with. And you can't have the light without the dark. And then sometimes you get lucky and just get a cool part like this, and that's kind of what happened for me. Is I just got lucky and got a cool script in my lap. So anyway, Alicia, yeah, I'm sure you have a better answer for that.
I thought that was perfect, and I agree. I feel like it's just exciting to get a juicy role, and yeah, I'm not sort of you're not sort of looking for the darkness. I'm just looking for the vegan meat. Like the juicy thing that I can sink my teeth into and um, explore. And when you're working like with talented filmmakers, then the material is there. In the material, there's so much to do, there's so much to explore. And that was the case with The Lodge, and that's the case with this script, um, Pretty Thing.
Yeah. Carl, I can't help but notice the intriguing parallels between Elliot and Captain Willard from Apocalypse Now. From Elliot gazing out of his window to working out in his room and grappling with dark reflections. Was this resemblance intentional? And did you and director Justin Kelly discuss drawing inspiration from Apocalypse Now, or maybe even Taxi Driver, when shaping Elliot's character?
We never talked about Apocalypse Now, but I love that connection was made. And now I'm seeing, I'm recognizing what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Uh, no, we honestly we talked more about things like single white female, and kind of there was a sort of equality, and I'm not even attempting to say that my performance touches hers, but Jennifer Jason Leigh, it felt a little bit more connected to a character like that. Did we talk about Taxi Driver? For sure, that came up because, of course, we were shooting in partly New York City.
Yeah.
There's this loserish loner quality yeah,
Hmm.
that kind of obsessive thing. But man, you're really making me want to rewatch Apocalypse Now right now and watch those. You're talking about when he's in Saigon, right? Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
When he's in
yeah,
his room.
yeah.
Yep. A lot of parallels there. One of the most fascinating aspects of this film is how Elliot and Sophie's individual journeys mirror each other, especially through their unique perspectives. For instance, the film opens with Elliot's reflection on a table, and later we see Sophie's reflection through her glass work desk. And then there's the shared moment of rolling down the car window and sticking their heads out as if the characters are breathing in life anew. It happens a couple of times in the film. I'm curious what you both made of these subtle yet powerful visual cues and how they connect the characters, even though they are living very different lives.
I think that Justin would be so happy to hear you speaking. You're such a great interviewer.
Thank
The
you.
details that you picked up are beautiful. I never noticed that about and now I'm very aware of what you're saying. Um, but yeah, no, so that wasn't a part. I just was playing the Sophie and what was happening with her, and I wasn't aware of the visual as he was doing it. But yeah, I could see that now.
Yeah.
I did Justin didn't necessarily bring this topic up when like let's say when we were setting up that shot with the reflection in the tray, but
Yeah.
I think I was aware that there was a sort of warped reflection that you were seeing that was an inverted upside down, and like to me it kind of felt like a little bit of a visual metaphor for these characters who have these layers that we that are not apparent at first. Sometimes
Yeah.
when you watch a movie, you know you see that you see your main character or one of your supporting characters, and they do an action or something happens that sort of very clearly defines who this person is for an audience. And Justin was playing with a lot more misdirection, I think, where you're really
Mhm.
you don't really see who these people are at first glance. You think you do, but then there's a whole lot more there. And I felt like those were some subtle visual clues he was giving, with those reflections in multiple faces in one shot, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the mirror shot of Elliot, and it's looking in opposite directions, but then there's one with Sophie where she's looking directly at herself, kind of maybe hinting at more control. So I think there's so much to dig at with a lot of those visual moments. But uh, Alicia, if you don't mind, I'd love to wrap up with a question from a very big fan of yours. They're curious to know if you could choose any director you've worked with in the past to helm a reboot of That Girl with you, who would you recommend?
That girl?
It's a question from somebody you know.
Um, I'm confused, but I like it. Um, I mean, because we're talking about Pretty Thing, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say Justin, because what Justin did so beautifully with this film for me. Well, one, I've worked with him before, so this was our second time. He did King Cobra, and he's a very talented filmmaker, and the material is provocative. And for me, it was risky, and he just made it really comfortable and really fun.
Yeah.
And so while he's so visually inspired, this film has the hair, the makeup, the wardrobe. It's the Tribeca, the aesthetic of the film,
Mhm.
I think is such a character in it. I love that. And he's all of his films are so artful. And
Yeah.
and then being in Paris, that splinter shoot of Carl being in Paris, it's just so beautiful. And I think Carl's performance is so nuanced and
Yeah.
beautiful. And he's such a great scene partner to work with. And so I'm really proud of our movie. And so why not do it with Carl can be in That Girl and Justin can be the director.
Yeah. Yeah. That question came from your perpetrator director, Jennifer Reeder.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, Jennifer. Disappointment. I am that I didn't pick up on that. She's brilliant too. So brilliant.
I agree. I agree. Well, sorry for the curveball. Thank you both so incredibly much for your
I'm
time.
tired.
I love this film, your work within it, and I know you both have a lot of more great work ahead of you, and I look forward to seeing it.
Thank
Thank
you, Preston.
Thank you so much for being so thoughtful.
Of course.
And tell Jennifer I'm sorry for being such a disappointment.